you've come from the tower, haven't you? Name's Agarth. Maybe you can help an old Fate Weaver, eh? Fate Weavers look at the great tapestry of fate. The threads will tell us how a life will unfold. But knowing the future and being able to change it are two very different things. Did he? Poor old Fomerus Hughes. He respected the way the world works. What a shame. He's probably dead by now. When he started his experiments here, he asked me if they'd ever be successful. The cards told me that the Well of Souls would work, but its success would come on the day that Hughes was to die. The old man took it pretty well, honestly, although we did a lot of drinking after that. You're the one. Then that means... it all makes sense now. The cards this morning. I drew the Gravedigger, the Running Man, and the Beast. Prepare yourself. They're coming. What? How? What are you? The threads of fate. I've seen them before, but I've never seen anyone manipulate them like that. You just changed how the world was supposed to work. How did you do that? Hughes may have brought you back to life, but that was still part of fate's plan. Nothing short of a god can do what you did. Come here. I'm going to do a reading. You might be able to change the threads, but fate will still have a plan for you. I promise not to tell you if I see your death. That would be my guess. He was an academic, but he had a proper respect for fate's plan, unlike most gnomes. That's fine, but you don't have to. But I can see that you're nervous. Relax. This is what Fate Weavers do. I'll be seeing your thread in the weave of fate. Who you are, what you've done, where your path takes you. Or at least, I should be. You're real, right? I swear I haven't had that much... Fate's weave is always hard to see. It's in motion, hard to make out, but undeniably there. Yours is just missing. This doesn't make sense. All mortal creatures have a place in the pattern. You should have one too, dead or not. If this is true, and I'm not saying I believe it, then your path is yours to determine. I can see the threads around you, but they're shifting, changing so rapidly, I can't make sense of them. Normally the threads would guide my hand to the cards, and I'd use those cards to see your pattern in the weave. But it just didn't happen. They wouldn't focus. So either there's something wrong with me, and there isn't, or there's something very wrong with you. It could mean nothing, or it could mean everything. The world is changing. You might be a sign of that, or maybe the cause. I've never had a reason to doubt my own readings, but we should consult with Arden. He's not a friend, but he's got a good eye for the tapestry. I'll meet you at his home to the east. I'm going to see if I can be of any help to the wounded at the tower. That's just it. I don't know if you've got one, but that's why we're going to see Arden. He lives in a little hut to the east in Yulven. I'll meet you there. Once I was Agarth the Unyielding, The Blade of Avgrum. I wrestled the Colossus priestess and declined knighthood by the High King of the Fae. I was a hero of men, but that wasn't enough for me. I joined the Fate Weavers, hoping to find a way to conquer destiny itself. Turns out fate is the one thing I couldn't fight. You can find Arden's little cottage in the middle of Joven. Had to move there when he got run out of town. He's a damned good Fate Weaver, but that doesn't make you very popular. Especially not in dark days like these. We are all threads in the tapestry of fate, measured, woven, and cut according to a great plan. Fate Weavers undertake the task of reading those threads. Our title always was a bitter lie, since we have no control over how that tapestry is woven. But you do. And when a Fate Weaver looks at your place in the weave, we see only the shapes of what you may choose to become. The Fate Weavers were once a great, unified order of sages from all the mortal races. We foretold the destinies of kings and gods. But that power takes a toll. Nobody likes bad news, and all the news in the world is getting worse. The Order splintered long ago. Now the old traditions are all but lost, and all I foretell is the fate of my beer. And I see it being empty soon. What could this all mean?
Of all the songs in halls of lore, there echoes none more grand than Olane's many feats of white, the pure, and Lady of the Light. She is a knight of golden knot. She is the cure seeker, the conscience of the summer fae. She is the heart of spring, of day.
Just stand back. The warden can't work when you're crowding so close. Go back to your business. Go on.
Yes, what if you see a law stone? Touch it. I don't trust the brothers of St. John's. Why should I? As they hold up an admission like rats.
We've buried so... Milsonshire will never fall! I don't care what you race. It's a tragedy whenever anyone's savage like this. Just look at the poor creature. She's been beaten to the brink of death. The Fae may be strange, but they certainly don't deserve this. It appears she was attacked with some manner of short blade, likely a dagger, although there's no way I can be sure. People simply stood by as she called for help. No one lifted a finger. Can you imagine? It's shameful to treat another in such a way, even if she is a Fae. I don't know whether we possess the knowledge to treat such a wound. Frankly, I don't even know if I could save a mortal with such grievous wounds. It's difficult to say. We've been plagued by the Red Legion for days, but it's not their way to go after the Fae in the area. They like their targets mortal. In case you haven't heard, there have been some Tuatha sighting in the woods to the west, so that's also a possibility. It's unlikely, though. Well, you're the only one. With all the troubles we've suffered in this village, people are weary of adversity. They'd rather just ignore it. I'm going to suggest something a bit... untraditional. There's a Fae named Eri. She spends her days up on the hill overlooking the village. Seek her wisdom. I would do it, but... I am a coward. That's the truth. Perhaps a Fae will know how to heal a Fae. If not, then we're back where we started. She spends her days in the precipice overlooking the village. She doesn't think we're aware of her presence, but we most certainly are. I'm the Warden of Goreheart, and a poor one at that. I've been back from the war for only 6 months and been Warden for less than 2. Now here I am with an injured Fae on my doorstep. I'm a disgrace. We keep a precarious peace with the Court of Summer, one that's tested every day. I lie awake at night worrying what kind of disaster awaits me in the morning. But we're a good community full of good people. We have our eccentrics, sure, but we work hard and live quietly. That's the best anyone can do these days. I've seen many bandit clans in the Crystal War and back home, but these men are a particular breed. They like their victims weak and bloody. The Red Legion has been a presence in the area for several weeks now. Our people are scared to show their faces after dark. Our fate rests in the hands of a few chosen who fight in the east. You wouldn't even know it in Goreheart. We're miles away from the smoke and the screams. Hope you stay in town.
It's not my job to protect. I wonder if I don't trust those brothers of St.
brothers of St. Odwig's, only when they... Whatever you do, avoid the monks of St. Odwig's Perpetual. They deal in lies and false tenets. Their light of hope will leave you in shadow. You don't know. It is less a mission than a fortress of deception, a citadel of lies. It throws its menacing shadow over all of Gorehart. Father Dinwell will try to defend his cause, but he is simply a soldier, marching to the orders passed down to him. None of them have minds of their own. She was wronged by someone in this village. That is an injustice I can understand. By its appearance, you'd assume Gorehart is a pleasant place. Never make assumptions. It is the name I chose when I baptized myself in the clear waters of Metharu. I have undergone the ordination rites, and am as legitimate as any monk. If such creatures were not part of the authorities' plan, then they would not exist in nature, period. Metharu's divine order governs all, even the Fae. He would be a good man if he could see past the rigidity of his faith. Metharu embraces all, not simply those that the Church deems worthy.
Nothing to see back here. Just a man working for his pay. We in Gorehart like to stay focused on our business. That way the Fae stay focused on theirs. Suits my needs just fine. It's remote, away from the shadows of the Crystal Wall. It's also quiet. Well, most of the time. What do you know of the Red Legion? Whatever it is, forget it. You'll be safer, wiser, and better off in the end. Ignorance is bliss, my friend. If there was ever a reason to believe that Fae and mortals cannot live together, it is this strange and brutal war. The Alpha fight without any true knowledge of the enemy they face. I've seen this kind of conflict before and it never ends well. I'd rather not talk about it. My past is a murky place. It's better not to enter lest you wish to get lost there. Gorehart is an Almain settlement, so you won't find too many Alpha here. They tend to stay close to Rathia, their city on the coast. I don't mind them.
Damn Red Legion. I wish I was fighting in the war. The action. Welcome to Gorhart.
I'm not accustomed to all of this excitement. It was difficult enough to adjust to life during wartime. Now we have to be on our guard for Tuatha right here in our own home. What is this world coming to? My experience is limited to Arnik Arduna and Katrin Allway. They seem the same as any of the rest of us. Wiser, perhaps, but decent, hard-working folk. I was born and raised right here in the village. Well, not in Gorhart proper, but on a farmstead outside the village boundaries. It was a good life. Before the war, of course. I was a miller's love who became a miller's wife. Now I am the wife of a soldier. My duty is to hold vigil for my beloved and for all our men on the lines. Truth be told, I know nothing of why the Tuatha are at war with the Alfar, nor why men fight the way they do. All I know is who picks up the pieces. The Tuatha's madness infected the Winter Court. All Fae existed peacefully for centuries, until the Tuatha got involved. It's sad. I'm hardly a scholar, but I can tell you what I know. There are two Fae factions, the gentle Court of Summer and its coarser cousin, the Court of Winter. As a child, we were told stories of their ancient rivalry. These are surely myths, but enough to scare a young girl. In the last few years, the Court of Winter has fallen, corrupted by a group of powerful Fae called the Tuatha. It's the Tuatha we fight, and the Tuatha we will defeat. Goodbye.
to jail with you.
Come in. Welcome to Goreheart, the last settlement before the Feylands. How can I fill your pack today? You will find it settled on a small lake beside the Eastern Road. Compared to Goreheart, Didenhill could be called a city. Some call it the Camp of Cowards, on account of it being settled by those who refuse to enter the forest. Can you blame them? Never trust a wood that whispers. There's Nettie the Smith, and Nanny handles potions and remedies. The inn's across the way if you fancy a pint. Keep an eye out for the Red Legion, though. Oh, I doubt it's an organized group. More likely that it's one scared idiot with a knife. I heard someone in the village mention the Red Legion, but that can't be true. The Alfar and the Tuatha have been at each other's throats for nearly a decade now. I can't remember the reason. I wonder if they can, the fools. Me, widowed, going on 5 years now. All my boys were taken by the Tuatha. Both sons, my brother, and my beloved Avery. Wicked business, this war. Goodbye.
I don't know if what the Fae say about these stones is true, but if it is, well, this is just too good to not save forever. Lystrom was out of town when Artol was visiting. Now, Lystrom doesn't know Artol, and Artol is older and strange. She could be mistaken for a Fate Weaver. So, when Lystrom came back to town, here was Artol the Oracular. I said to Lystrom, I hear her readings are amazing. You should go. Oh my, you should have seen it. A rooster, she said, will change into a man, and this man will become your lover. He will provide for you, and he will make you laugh, and he will make your life exciting and easier. But, and this is something you can never forget, he must never eat chicken. And once in a while, he will need to peck at things on the ground, and every morning at the break of dawn, you'll hear a loud cry from him.
Ugh, finally, someone that looks like they could stand up to a moderate breeze. There's need for an adventurer such as yourself. Me and a crew are mounting an expedition to a new land, south of here. Ah, clever and strong, I see. It's as I said, we're going to the teeth of Naros, the land south of Dalentarth. If you want more information, seek Hellick Cross. He's leading us. We're camped beyond Ettenmere. The name's enough to put most explorers off. Bugger them, I say. Just less competition. Besides, what's in a name? I spent 2 years trying to make a fortune in a land called the Painted Orsks. Never did find out what an Orsk was. Made a living pillaging the ruins of old places like Talarain. Robbing the dead tastes better than stealing from the living. I'm a good enough thief. Never once been caught. Still have all my fingers, or didn't you notice? Hellick's brainchild, if you can believe it. I don't share his optimism about the loot we'll find, but if we get only a fraction of it... Fine.
I'll cut you to
For a while I thought only the Warsworn used the Yolven Road. Henry Kell's my name. Traveller by vocation. I have no trade, but I do have a job for one like yourself. Interested? Most travellers have qualms about dealing with the fair folk. Harder to read than a human, and fewer many pockets to pick. These ballads, Fae, they are not only rich in lore. I've heard snippets of a ballad, and a beautiful ruby ring, and I need someone to help me get it. Never met a traveller before, have you? We may look humble, but our purses are always full. You can find a lot of coin if you know where to look, and when. The ballad is called Ring and Reprisal. I know little about it, but if we reenact the ballad step by step, the ring should come to us. In the story, a maiden asks a champion to reclaim a ring stolen by a troll. It's a few years too late, but I'll play the role of the maiden. You be the champion. First, you must prove your prowess by hunting wild antelope and bring back something to lure the troll. Who knows? You'd have better luck getting an answer from one of these damn Fae. But it's what the ballad calls for. You can find an antelope nearby. Bring them down and get proof of your kills. We'll need them later on. It is the story of a maiden who lost her ring to a greedy troll. A young knight, wishing to be her champion, offered to reclaim it. The champion killed antelope and used the carcass as bait. When the troll came to feed, the knight killed the troll and returned the ring to the maiden. The ballads of these Fae repeat naturally, but if we reprise it now, we can force the troll and the ring to appear again. It's the way these Fae work. New to the Faelands, yes? We travellers are folks without land, law, or king. We go where we want and do what we please. That aside, it's pretty much common knowledge that we're some of the greatest thieves in the land. Kiss a traveller and count your teeth, so the saying goes. Lambs, all of them, yes. The people in Gorehart wish to hide from the war beneath the trees. But you and I both know the truth. There's no running from the Tuatha. At first listen, the Fae speak in riddles, but bend an ear. They revere stories. It is how they give their lives meaning. If you can call what they do life, the House of Ballads is a place where the Fae revel in their past glories. It is north of here if you're curious. May your kills be clean.
Interesting. You're not at all what I expected to find here. I trailed a band of Tuatha to this place. They killed the Fate Weaver. I was hoping his corpse would give me an idea of why they were here. Now I know. They were hoping to find you. If I'd interfered, the Tuatha would know I was tracking them. This Fate Weaver wasn't worth losing valuable information. But the Tuatha are still on the move. I must go. I'm certain we will see one another again. Soon. Be on your way.
What happened here? Arden's dead. How did this happen? Why would they have come here? Why kill a harmless old Fate Weaver? They couldn't know that you were headed here. I mean, the stingy bastard owes me a week of drinks. Doesn't mean he deserved to be murdered. I was hoping to avoid this, but I think I'm going to have to take you to Delok. Maybe not directly, but something isn't right. His fate was changed, and you're the only person I've seen who can do that. I'm going to have to handle this myself, I guess. I was hoping I could avoid Delok. Go. I'll meet you there once I give Arden a proper funeral. He died before his time, but I can't imagine many tears will be shed for him. You tell enough futures and soon you won't have any friends left. Under the Delok ruins in Etenmere is a nexus of oracular power. It's where the Fate Weaver Order was founded, but no one has been there in over 100 years. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but we're going to have to go to Delok. Maybe something there can tell me why I can't see your fate. This is twice now I've buried the bodies left in your wake.
Greetings. Thank the gods. Somebody finally came. Tell us, are you from Gorehart or Dyden Hill? How many warriors travel with you? It seems you're not the assistance we requested, but don't think me ungrateful. I could... Ganarok could use someone of your particular skill. I'm doing my best to save this town. I'm sure you can see that. The town was built for those who made their living harvesting silk from webwood. Though dangerous, we had the bridges and magic to guard us. Unfortunately, that seems to have stopped, and we don't have the people or the defenses to hold out indefinitely. The old forest is home to countless spiders. I've heard of a time when it stretched from here to Odorath. Legends say that there was even a terrible wraith named the Widow who ruled the spiders. But such is for children's tales. Those that make their living taking the webbing from the wood so we can process it. Most of them didn't survive the first spider attacks. We sit on the border to webwood, most of us silk farmers. Normally, we rely on our bridges and an ancient summer fae aura to guard us. But of late, what defenses we have are failing. These monstrous spiders strike at us from all sides. They've even gotten as far as Yolvan. A week ago, a team of hunters was led by the village's chief defender, Barton. We need someone to go find him and his party. Good. I have more information to give you regarding Barton and the hunting party. But let's not give anyone false hope. And these townsfolk are growing hysterical. Meet me on the southern bridge and we'll continue our discussion. He is too new to our village to have already given his life in its defense. But I fear it may be too late to save him. They are a strange, mincing people. No sense of themselves or how others perceive them. They're just too caught up in their own nature. The spiders. We've had an uneasy existence on the edge of Webwood. But never have we had to fear for our lives so. And our greatest warrior, Barton, is lost somewhere within it. We need you to find him. Good hunting!
keep it brief. I've work.
I was told of ancient days when wise priestess Beala Tirin to goddess Lyria spoke. The people, remembering all after war, called for Durek's fate. Slay them, the foul and wretched tribe, said Dokalfar. Spare them, the poor and miserable beasts, cried Losalfar. Their minds, depraved and hatred poisoned, twisted. Alfar struck Alfar over drink, at feast, when all else is merry, when peace reigns in havens. Hateful, I am told, were cousins towards each other. From the cold-blessed Ferial, Beala Tirin, with a head to seek Lyria's guidance, set forth on a pilgrimage.
I say, isn't there anything we can do about all this uncivilization in these lands? We have magic and weapons. Should be easy work. But you could fit the bill. I'm part of an expedition to the teeth of Naros, and we need another to come with us on the journey. An ominous name. Naros is a troll god. If this is a place trolls believe to be hallowed ground, then what are we getting ourselves into? The Cranwins helped found the Order of the Ash. Our caliber of spells is matched only by our fortitude. as I'm sure you've heard. The Varani woman? Helix seems to respect her, but I've a feeling she'll cheat the lot of us before this is through. This is rather base work for one of my stature, but if rumors of this southern land are true, then even among the Cranwins, I'll be reputed. It's as I said, we're going to the unexplored land south of Dalentarth. They're said to house unimaginable wealth. Our coffers will thank us when we get there. If you need more information, find our camp near Ettenmere and speak to our leader, Helic. Leave me.
Lord Ferrara, valiant warrior, destroyer of Enfaminir, Duke of the Hylarans, protector of the Ring of Kiozai, discoverer of the island of Meropis, were he only to meet a better end.
Only one head, by the mercy of the gods. I thought my time had come at last. Fate does not seem to hold much stock in my expedition, but it leaves me alive to see its utter failure through to the end. I'm here from Odessa on business. The rest of my expedition was wiped out by the Etin. Can't say I know all that much about the old man, other than he's a fisherman here in Etinmere. He's quite a hospitable man, though. He let me stay here without much question. I came here strictly for research purposes. This is not a place many people would come on their own accord. Their impudence seems tied to their devotion. From what I can tell, a small number of prominent shamans are rallying them. If someone had a head on their shoulders and a blade, then toppling those shaman would help pacify the area. I was leading an expedition to recover a pair of Arathi artifacts, known only as Shine and Shadow. I've spent the last decade researching them. Texts say the artifacts are powerful, but what they can do is never explicitly stated. Regardless, the Templars feel it best to place such items under their guard. But the Etin have hit us hard. And it's said that the artifacts are guarded in Delak by an ancient powerful shaman of their kind. I'm at a loss for what to do. I have not had such good news in some time. My research indicates that the artifacts are somewhere in Delak. It seems they're now a trophy of the Etin. I can promise you this much. Though my expedition was underprepared, it was not underfinanced. A large reward waits for one who finds the artifacts. My research has tracked them to Delak. There is talk of an ancient guardian. From the looks of this place, it's likely some Etin.
There ain't no fish today, stranger. It's best you look elsewhere. Ugh, can't even look a fish in the face anymore. Not ever since I met that nymph. Sure, you can bed down for the night. Bedroll's out back by the shed. I've been a fisherman on these shores since I could cast a net. Even the Etin leave me be. Used to be this was Holmes Lake. But I lost my wife Imelda to fever and my nephew abandoned me to go to Dyden Hill. And now I'm just a man content to die in the house my family built here years ago. Not much here anymore besides the Etin and myself. We get the occasional traveller, but it's not often. They're hostile enough normally, but of late it seems like a couple have become struck with divine inspiration. Kind that makes the Etin go to war. If they keep this up, we might have an Etin war party on our hands. If only someone might take care of those shamans first. I can remember when I first saw her, on the cliff to the south, overlooking Etinmere. I saw that watery maiden and I fell in love with her. I've outlived my Imelda. My nephew Thaddeus up and left for Dyden Hill for want of never seeing me again. I had a chance of ending loneliness, but it was taken from me. Beasts of the wild scared her off. We were to wed by my pier, but I ain't seen her for days now. I'd search, but the monsters will rip me to shreds. I bet you could indeed, but that's only half of what's needed. You must also find my bride-to-be. Then the wedding will be upon us. I've got to find the ring. I need to find my bear mask. I need to prepare. You best start by the pier. If she's not there, keep heading south. She's bound to be somewhere. Go on now. I will ready myself for the wedding and then catch up to you. Well, I've seen a few fine women in my day. Even met a fey woman in Gorehart long ago. But that nymph, she's something else. Her skin's lustre, her heaving prow and ample stern. Except for the fishy parts, I mean. But even so, I've fished this lake enough that the form is, pleasingly familiar. I was to meet her at the old pier, but the gentle creature got scared by the monsters, no doubt. I first laid eyes on her from the cliff overlooking the lake, to the south. I bet if you head south, you'll still find her. Please, find my nymph.
So brief his term among our court, so very...
It's good you're here. I was beginning to think you were just something I saw in the bottle. Welcome to the ruins of Delok. We'll see soon enough. Deep below us is the Theater of Fate, where the immortals taught man, alpha, and gnome to read the destiny of the world. Come with me. Maybe I am crazy, but not about this. The Theater of Fate was once an Irathi stronghold. Mortals and immortals worked together to build a site of total understanding. Since then, it's been lost, rediscovered, and abandoned all over again. Mortals can't stand the knowledge, and immortals simply don't care. It's the ruins of the Theater of Fate. This is where the first Fate Weavers learned how to read the weave. They left their wisdom behind in the Destiny Stone. I'm hoping that the stone will tell me who you are. In we go. keep quiet. We aren't safe here.